So now let's go to our three headlines. The first headline is something that is tragic and is really consuming all of the attention this week for the right reasons, that it is a horrible tragedy. These, of course, are the fires in and around the city of Los Angeles. The images are heartbreaking. Entire neighborhoods engulfed in flames, total chaos, people fleeing. Even some people that are in, my network. I lived in LA for a year. I lived up in the canyons. Sharing devastating images. And I'll leave it to others to do the breaking news reporting, the kind of hard analysis of the path of the fire and the wind and the atmosphere. But there's an interesting angle that I think is worth discussing, and it's the relationship between these fires and DEI. Now, on the surface, you might say, that's a ridiculous thing. DEI is such a secondary, tertiary, even tertiary concern. These are fires, and you can't blame the fires on DEI. DEI didn't cause the Los Angeles fires. And of course, that's true. Let's say at the outset, yes, of course, DEI did not cause these horrific wildfires or the fast blowing wind. That's obviously true. But where I think DEI comes in, and it's important to think about, is that DEI does harm competency at any organization that adopts it. And the Los Angeles City and the Los Angeles County fire departments have been on the forefront of pushing DEI at the highest levels. I spent some time looking at the organizational charts and some of the documentation from these places. They're putting equity departments, DEI initiatives at the very top of their list of priorities. In fact, the Los Angeles City Fire Department, which boasted of having the first, LGBTQ female fire chief, celebrating her accomplishments as an expression of DEI, actually made DEI and having a progressive work environment their number 2 and number 3 priorities in their multi-year strategic plan. The first, of course, was, fight fires, protect property. But numbers 2 and 3 were to push DEI and to maintain a progressive workplace. Way further down the list were things like improving disaster response and implementing new technologies. So what does this tell me? This tells me that this organization that actually faced budget cuts and they were cutting essential services, not only kept DEI and the millions in spending on DEI, but they actually elevated that just above the actual, fighting fires, protecting property, saving lives. And so you see DEI as a focus instead of the actual mission of the organization. That's always the case. The mission of the organization and DEI are never the same thing. And in fact, unless you're a DEI organization, they're always in conflict, because DEI simply means lowering standards for certain groups in order to get representation from those supposedly oppressed groups. And so you see it impacting hiring. Certainly at a place like LA Fire Department, they make this, they don't make this a secret. They're hiring on the basis of identity, race, and gender. More women in the fire department, more supposedly underrepresented minorities in the department. Not because they're the best candidates, although some certainly are. I mean, firefighting race, for example, is not correlated with firefighting ability, in as far as I know. But what it does mean is that you are not taking the best candidates by definition. You're trying to take candidates by ancestry, by identity. And of course, you're devoting millions of dollars to DEI when you could be devoting those millions of dollars to fighting fires. But more than that, I think there's a kind of non-quantifiable problem with DEI. It's that an organization that adopts DEI as an ideology sacrifices competence as the overriding goal. The whole office then starts playing politics, playing identity games, frittering away time, attention, and resources on ideologies rather than the actual core concern. And there's an argument to say, well, it's not a huge deal in a humanities department, right? You have some DEI in the humanities department, maybe the quality of scholarship goes down, but nobody is burning to death. Something like a fire department, though, is different. You want to have competent people in things like emergency services, medicine, the military. These are life or death decisions, and the fact that they have a DEI department at all should send up red flags to anyone that is watching. And I saw a clip from the DEI chief at the LA Fire Department saying, it's really great when people are being pulled out of a burning building that the firefighters look like the people that they're helping. And the idea is representation, right? It's this DEI meme that little girls should watch Disney movies and see someone that has the same skin color. That's the way to make things better. Or even like Band-Aids. There was this big DEI debate about Band-Aids. Well, Band-Aids have skin kind of are similar color to skin like mine, but you need to have dark black Band-Aids for African American skin so that the African American children can have a Band-Aid that covers their skin and makes them feel like it's designed in particular for them. And I guess, like, all things being equal, yeah, fine. There's a market opportunity maybe. That's fine. There's certainly no problem with having a variety of Band-Aid colors. But the problem is when you superimpose representation on critical functions and use them as a hiring metric. To say, we don't want the best people, we just want people that look like this. And I'll tell you, if I'm in a burning building, if, let's say, my studio is burning down, I've maybe passed out, I don't want someone looking exactly like me showing up to be the firefighter. I want someone that is, maybe 6'4", 250 pounds, very strong, whatever skin color, that can, haul me out of the studio and perhaps, save some of the equipment or some of my papers. I don't want like a nerd coming and trying to save me from a fire. And I don't want a 5'4", Filipino woman trying to drag me out by my feet. That doesn't seem sensible to anyone. And the fact that it might even be controversial to say so should tell you something.